All right, let's dive in. We've really gone through the notes and the source material you shared with us, and today we're zeroing in on something that trips up a lot of people learning English.
Yeah.
Pronunciation hurdles. Our goal here is to really dig into this material, help you speak more clearly, more naturally, tackle that shyness maybe, give you some solid insights. So yeah, this is our focused deep dive into what you sent.
Exactly. And what we're trying to do is pull out the really key bits from the material. We want to understand not just what these pronunciation points are, but why they're flagged as being so crucial for sounding, natural and just being understood easily. Think of it as unlocking the important stuff hidden in those details.
Okay, wait. Let's unpack this then. Your material, it pretty much immediately flags the TH sound, says it's one of the biggest obstacles.
Yeah, and what's interesting is why. Why is that sound so hard for so many people? As your notes point out, it's because that specific sound, it just doesn't exist in a lot of other languages. Your mouth isn't trained to make it, and English uses it all the time.
Right, yeah. And the material lays out two distinct ways we make it, doesn't it?
It does. You've got the voiced the. That's where you feel a vibration in your throat, on your tongue. Your notes give examples like this, that, the. Then there's the voiceless the, more just air passing through, think, thank, or three. And the material points out common mistakes, like saying dis instead of this, or maybe tree for three. But the main takeaway straight from your notes is that it's not super complicated theory. Well, it just takes practice to build that muscle memory.
Okay, practice. Makes sense. Moving on then, another hurdle your material focuses on is telling apart R and L. Apparently, these sounds are very, very different in English.
Oh, absolutely. And mixing them up, that can really confuse listeners. We saw in the material how important the difference is by looking at those word pairs, right? Where swapping R and L totally changes the meaning.
Yeah, like rice versus lice. That's a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
Or right versus light, and road versus load. Yeah, I see.
Exactly. And your material even breaks down the sort of physical mechanics. It talks about tongue position. So the R sound, your tongue curls back in your mouth, doesn't touch the top. But for the L, the tip of your tongue actually touches that ridge right behind your front teeth. Understanding how you physically make the sound is, it's a really powerful step towards getting it right.
Okay. Next up, something your material says can trick you. Silent letters.
Yeah.
Letters that are written down, but you just don't say them.
Yes. These really challenge that whole idea that English spelling always matches pronunciation, which it often doesn't. Your notes give some classic examples, ones learners often stumble over, like the silent K at the start of words like knife, no, knee. The example sentence they used, I know he has a knife, really shows how that K just, poof, vanishes for your ears.
And there's the silent B too, right? At the end of words sometimes.
That's right. Like in thumb, or climb, or doubt. The material uses that sentence, I doubt he'll climb with a sore thumb, again, to show that B is just gone. And your notes make a good point. Mastering these might seem like small things, but they really do help make your English sound more natural.
Okay, so we've got individual sounds like TH, R, L, and even letters that go quiet. But it gets, more complex, doesn't it? Because how we emphasize syllables changes things too. Your material brings up word stress, calling English a stress-timed language.
Yes, and this is so important because it means not all syllables get equal weight. Some are stronger, louder, maybe a bit longer, and as your notes show really clearly, where you put that stress can completely change a word's meaning, especially with words that look the same but are different parts of speech, like nouns and verbs.
This is where it gets really interesting. Like the difference between record, the noun, stressing the first bit, and record, the verb, where you stress the second bit.
Exactly. Or think about present, the gift, versus present, like giving a presentation. Your material lays out that general rule. Nouns often stress the first syllable, verbs often the second, and the core message is just what your notes say. The stress difference can change the meaning of the word. It's not just flavor, it's fundamental.
Right, fundamental. That actually leads us perfectly into the last major point from your material, intonation, which it describes really nicely as the music in your voice.
Yeah, I like that description.
Yeah.
This is maybe where English gets a lot of its rhythm and, emotional color. Intonation is basically the rise and fall of your voice pitch over sentences or phrases. And your material gives some clear examples of how this music signals different intentions.
Like your voice going up at the end when you ask a question. Are you ready? Like that.
Precisely. That rising tone usually signals you're asking something. And then for statements, the voice tends to fall at the end, I'm ready,
Huh.
That falling tone signals you're stating a fact or you're finished with the thought. Your material makes a really important point here. Getting this music right isn't just about sounding fluent. It says good intonation helps you sound friendly, interested, and more fluent. It's about connection.
Okay, wow. So let's just quickly pull together the main things we've unpacked from your material then. We looked at those tricky TH sounds, the difference between this, voiced, and think, voiceless, and how it's often a new mouth movement. We saw the clear difference between R and L, how tongue position is key, and how mixing them up, like in right versus light, is confusing. Then the silent letters, like the K in knife or the B in thumb, small things, but they matter for sounding natural. We explored word stress, how putting emphasis on different syllables changes meaning, like record versus record. And finally, that music intonation, rising for questions, falling for statements, adding feeling and flow.
And sort of woven through all those points in your material is that really simple but powerful advice. Practice. You've got to practice consistently. Daily effort, repeating sounds, repeating words, consciously trying to speak slowly and clearly sometimes, just focusing on these things. Your notes are really clear that, look, making mistakes, that's totally normal, it's expected. The key thing is just to keep at it. Keep practicing, don't get discouraged.
Yeah, absolutely. So this deep dive into your material basically gives you a clear plan. Start really listening, pay attention to how native speakers use their mouths for TH, R, A, L. Listen for where they put the stress, that stronger syllable. Tune into the music, the intonation, and then we'll try and copy it. Actively imitating those patterns based on what we just unpacked from your notes, that's how you build the skills and, feel more confident.
What's really fascinating when you pull it all together, the intonation, the stress, the individual sounds, is how much of the meaning and that sense of sounding natural in English isn't just about the words themselves. It's so much about the sound, the rhythm, the emphasis you use. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? Maybe mastering that music of English, the intonation and stress patterns, maybe that's actually the most important step towards truly sounding natural. Perhaps even more than getting every single sound perfect right away.
That's a really interesting thought to leave people with, something to definitely mull over. Keep exploring those pronunciation nuances with confidence.